Now, let's face it, last night's Monday Night Raw was a piece of shit, so it wasn't a big stretch. It didn't take a psychic to say that SmackDown would be better than Raw. But after what we got tonight on SmackDown, you can call me, it's the corniest thing I can think of, Spazstradamus. Oh yes. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your Blue Brand, your August 30th SmackDown Live review. And as I said last night, this show wiped the floor with Monday Night Raw. All due respect to Kevin Owens and what he achieved in the main event last night, this show is flat out better. Oh yes. Where to start? With the pre-show, we discussed the Miz bomb from last week, which we've been talking about all week. We announced that Ziggler is going to be on Miz TV tonight, which is turning into another thing that I've been asking for a long-ass time. We got Nikki Bella on the Skype machine, which you guys know I don't like, but it's starting to serve a purpose, so it doesn't bug me as much. She addresses Carmella's attack from last week. She addresses her intentions for the Women's Championship on SmackDown. And she lends to the rumor that's been started on Twitter that Brie Bella might be returning to the Blue Brand as well. Daniel Bryan and John Cena are on SmackDown, so obviously their wives would be in tow. The tournament continues tonight. We're going to get the last two first-round matches being the Hype Bros versus the Vaudevillains, and Slater and Rhino versus the returning Headbangers. Now, a lot of people shit on this. And we'll talk about this more when the match comes, I was looking forward to this because the Headbangers were just fun, and that's allowed sometimes. We see a video package on Baron Corbin for reasons, and then it's not for reasons because Baron Corbin is going to face the WWE World Champion tonight for reasons that I just don't understand, but let's give the young guy a shot, as they say. We open up the show with Shane and Bryan watching the replay of the Miz bomb from last week. Shane's telling Daniel Bryan, giving him some friendly advice that, you can't be, interacting and inciting the talent like that. And Daniel Bryan, rightfully so, says that's a little bit of hypocrisy coming from the guy that's just got some bullshit stirring with Brock Lesnar. Oh yes. But no, Brock Lesnar's not going to fight Shane. Brock Lesnar's going to fight Randy Orton at a house show before the Raw paper. Fucking hell. See, anything Raw touches, that's what... Anyways, The Miz comes out to start the show, and it's cool because he doesn't come out in the typical, elaborate, I'm an actor, I'm from Hollywood shit. He comes out in a suit, and Maurice comes out in... It doesn't really matter what Maurice comes out in, she's hot as fuck. But he comes out and he storms out to the ring, and it's kind of that breaking kayfabe vibe that SmackDown's starting to have, because he storms halfway to the ring before his music starts. Crowd's booing him. Don't you dare boo me after I was set aside week after week after week, your 148-day Intercontinental Champion. This championship that Daniel Bryan tarnished by being a quitter. You guys don't know what they say in the back. You don't know what happens in the back. You don't know that WWE depends on me for a commercial, for TV, for movies, for red carpets, for award shows, etc., etc., etc. I do it all, and even still, I've never been injured. Even still, I'm your Intercontinental Champion. You all just hate me for the simple fact that I didn't grow up in this business. I didn't fight in bingo halls and, RMA buildings and Roddy Raw. And it's all good, and it's all true. As much as I do love the indie influence that's coming into wrestling, it's like if you didn't perform in front of a crowd of 5 people, you don't deserve to perform at WrestleMania, which The Miz has done before Daniel Bryan. I'm just putting that one out there. Ziggler comes out. This was supposed to be a Miz TV segment. I guess it's happening now. Ziggler says, yeah, you got a couple of points. You do it all, but all these fans see right through you. We all go above and beyond in the WWE. It's not just you. These people see through you because they know you just want it for the fame and whatever. That is why nobody will ever believe in you. And here's the thing, every week you have a chance to come out and change that. Every time you have a chance to come out here and change the fans' minds, prove them wrong, prove the back wrong, prove the bosses wrong, and prove yourself wrong. Do you want to prove it? Prove it right now. Do it right now. Fight me. I don't want a referee. I don't want a title shot. Just prove yourself to yourself right now. Elevate yourself. Fight me right now. Miz bails because Maurice, you know, pushes him up the ramp, so to speak. This is going to go towards what I've been pulling for so long, and we've always seen it. Miz and Ziggler always have great matches, and they always seem to pass each other. They always seem to have matches against each other on their way to something else. Miz is defending against Kevin Owens at a pay-per-view, so his warm-up match is against Ziggler. Or vice versa. They've never had, that I remember, a long-standing feud. And both of these guys, Ziggler, who's been misused by the company, and Miz, who is vastly underrated by the fans, have a very similar... how can I say this? They have a very similar frustration going on. Their stories are kind of parallel. If you look at CM Punk and John Cena back in the day, John Cena was the company's guy that the crowd hated. CM Punk was the crowd's guy that the company hated. So they had the exact opposite frustrations, if that makes sense. Ziggler has been sort of let down by the company and the crowd loves him. Miz has been sort of repetitively put in high mid-card situations by the company, long reigning championships, etc., and the crowd doesn't like him. They have the opposite frustration. They can elevate each other, and they haven't announced it yet, but I swear to God, if you make Miz versus Dolph Ziggler at Backlash to go along with AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose, to go along with the women's six-pack and the finals of this tag team tournament, along with what else we're going to talk about later tonight, then the first ever SmackDown brand-specific pay-per-view is going to go off without a hitch. That's me. That's on the record. That's me saying that right now. Running out of breath because the opening segment got me excited. Speaking of things that get me out of breath and get me excited, the Hype Bros, Mojo Rawley, you know, the motor and all that sort of thing, versus the Vaudevillains in the first round match for... I can speak, I swear. First round match in the tournament to crown the new SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Ryder in English start off, collar and elbow tie-up, dropkick by Ryder, forearms by Ryder, suicide dropkick, neckbreaker by English on the outside, which is, you know, it is what it is. It's a dirty look at because he runs at the neckbreaker. It's almost a scooping neckbreaker on the floor. It's really good. Vaudevillains are good. As much as their gimmick is falling flat on its ass, these guys are good in the ring. I will give them that. My criticism of them is of their booking and of their gimmick. Please understand that as talents, I like these guys, and I think separately or together they could do some amazing things. The gimmick is falling flat, much like the Ascension did, much like Bo Dallas eventually did. And Bo Dallas is getting himself removed off planes for being drunk at the moment, so Bo Dallas isn't really the reference I want to make right now. Shoulder tackles and clotheslines for everybody by Mojo, a slam by Mojo, a broski boot by Ryder, a clothesline by Mojo, and the Hype Ryder, which is probably the second best tandem tag team maneuver in the WWE right now, behind the Grand Amplitude. Hype Bros get the win. Incidentally, Usos and the American Alpha are fighting each other next round in the bracket. I would have saved that for the finale, but that's just me. Hype Bros get the win. They will face the winner of the Headbangers versus Heath, Slater and Rhino later tonight. Styles tells off Apollo Crews in the back. He's walking through the back with the John Cena armband around his head. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing that I don't think WWE understands. I get it. AJ got his little souvenir from beating John Cena, and he's going to have it with him until Cena comes back. I get that. But do you not understand that AJ Styles, wearing John Cena's armband on his head, armband on his head, amplifies to the audience that AJ Styles is a smaller guy. Now, I'm not saying that matters. AJ Styles is fucking phenomenal, apropos the nickname, but that's not the thing you want to focus on. He goes around to introducing himself as the face that runs the place, Roddy Rah, and then he talks to Apollo Crews, and he doesn't know Apollo Crews' name. Now, this was fun when they did the Apollo Creed thing with Daniel Bryan, and The Miz kind of made fun of it, whatever. If Apollo Crews is going to start doing a "My name is Apollo Crews" like "My name is Dolph Ziggler" back in the day when he debuted, that's not going to help him at all, is it? But AJ Styles goes out to the ring. Apparently he has instructed the ring announcers to introduce him to the ring as the face that runs the place, the phenomenal AJ Styles. introduces himself, goes off all the catchphrases. The soon-to-be champ is here. Dean's gonna have nightmares about losing to me at Backlash. Cruz interrupts him, and, you know, he says, do you want to have a spelling bee? Da-da-da-da-da. Cruz says, no, but I did go to Daniel Bryan, and I asked him if we could have a match right now. So we have Styles versus Cruz. Throat chop and corner chops by Styles to start a crazy drop kick by Cruz, and Styles eats the apron. Straight right hands by Cruz as we go to commercial break. SmackDown's got me all hyped, no pun intended. Coming back from the commercial break, Styles rides a facelock and they trade punches. Clothesline, boot, splash, forearm, all by Cruz. All look fucking phenomenal. Again, no pun intended. Arm drag by Styles. Cruz tosses Styles. Apron moonsault by Cruz, which is nice. Snake eyes by Styles. Corner splash by Styles. Snap Samoan drop by the bigger, larger, more muscular Apollo Crews is pretty and kind of looks like a car crash. Hangman by Styles and a quick phenomenal forearm does obviously get the win. You're not going to beat AJ Styles when his next pay-per-view match is for the world title of SmackDown. But great, and I cannot underscore this enough, great outing for Apollo Crews. And kudos for him for, you know, somebody's taking him lightly. I'm going to prove them wrong. That's great. Heath Slater at the trailer park. I questioned whether I was going to say anything about this or not. Renee Young goes to Heath Slater's trailer park where they meet his fat hick-ass wife that serves them cheese in a can and crackers, and if he gets the job at SmackDown, he's going to buy himself a double wide, and, you know, he's got his pool, and all his kids are out there collecting cans or whatever. Now, any of you that follow me on Facebook know that the over-politically correct landscape of 2016 drives me fucking nuts. Now, you do have to come into 2016. We do need equal rights. Black wrestlers should not be held down in the WWE. Stephanie McMahon entertaining the possibility of introducing LGBT characters and storylines. Great. Friggin' phenomenal. The women being treated as actual athletes rather than just eye candy and a pair of tits and ass. All great, all wonderful. But the social justice warriors, all of them that have beat down WWE to the point that they are so fucking whipped. Oh, you can't do stereotypes. You can't do these social stereotypes. It's horrible. It's worse than murder. Apparently, that notion, that sentiment that you cannot stereotype people based on their demographic, gender, race, color, creed, etc. Apparently that notion, that let's bring us all together, kumbaya bullshit, does not apply to straight white males. And that's why we get bullshit like this. Oh yes. Oh yes. It was funny though. Skipping over to something a lot more serious, Bray Wyatt comes out and he says he's going to give the sermon to the serpent. The alliteration there is great. I like it. It's all good. We're getting Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. Is what they're doing here. I'm not afraid of snakes, monsters, or any men of any kind. I am fear. Orton is no serpent. He's just a man. He's sick, and that's why I like him. Lesnar exposed your flaws. You thought you had no fear. You came out of your match with Lesnar damaged, and that's my game, man. I hope the voices tell you to run. Orton comes out. The voices in my head are just asking who the hell you think you are. If you think a few staples have me damaged, I've been damaged for a long ass time. But congratulations, Bray. You do have my attention. This is all done in the dark. Randy Orton's on the ramp. Bray Wyatt's on the stage in that trademark rocking chair that he has. Wyatt says he admires his courage. You're no longer the apex predator. I'm the predator, and predators kill. I'm coming to Backlash to cut the head off the snake. Orton just says, and he's right to do so, many people have tried. Cactus Jack tried in hardcore matches. Undertaker tried in Hell in the Cell matches. The scars you need to worry about of mine are the internal scars. They're the ones you need to worry about. They represent my inner demons. I do half-ass respect you, and if you want a match with me at Backlash, you know, go for it. You know, you got it. You got your match for Backlash. But the voices in my head are telling me right now that I need to kick your ass. He jumps into the ring, jump scare, the whole place goes dark, and that's the end of the segment. So Bray Wyatt disappeared with Randy Orton, and we'll see him next week. Alexa Bliss and Natty versus Naomi and Becky Lynch. Now, you guys know I want the feud built after the Women's Championship is established. No matter who has it, I want to see a feud built up better between Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss. So Natty and Naomi are pretty irrelevant in this match, although Nikki Bella is on commentary. Naomi and Natty start, so it's about as boring as you can imagine. Naomi falls on her ass, and we go to commercial break. We come back from commercial break. Natty and Naomi lay around for a while. There's a takedown by Bliss, a choke on the ropes, and a facebuster. Naomi flops around in her little Dayglow retarded gimmick get-up there. Mounted punches by Bliss, rolling clotheslines by Becky, and the flying firearm. Top rope drop kick by Becky. Outside the ring, as a distraction, Carmella attacks Nikki Bella, and of course Nikki Bella has to eat the guardrail because we're playing up the head, neck injury, etc. The distraction is enough for Alexa Bliss to get the roll-up on Becky Lynch with the tights, building the animosity between those two. And Alexa Bliss, not Alexa Bliss and Natty, I'm going to say it the way it is. Alexa Bliss gets the win. Now, I will say it's a little quick revisionist history that the babyfaces immediately go to help Nikki Bella outside the ring. She was a heel up until the turn last week, but now they're best mates. Oh, yes. We get some more Kurt Hawkins facts, which are as amazing as they always are. The Headbangers versus Rhino and Slater. Little disappointed because they didn't use the Headbangers' initial music and they had no Titantron whatsoever, but it's all good. As soon as this match starts, a bunch of people in a big section of the arena hold up the, we're Heath's kids signs. And, a little inbred humor never hurt anybody. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Mosh and Slater start. Headlock by Slater and a back elbow. Crossbody by Mosh. Clothesline by Thrasher. Backdrop by Thrasher. A double pancake by the Headbangers. A headlock by Mosh. And a stage dive by the Headbangers. Rhino gets the tag, gets the gore, and gets the win for Rhino and Slater, which leads me to ask the question, why is Rhino bleeding profusely from the face, but Slater and Rhino get the win? I wish the Headbangers were sticking around. I know I'm alone in that, but they're a fun team. And they look pretty damn good. They underscore over and over and over again the fact that the WWE hasn't seen the Headbangers in over 16 years, and you got the jackoffs on commentary saying, oh, 16, are you sure it isn't 60, Ryder? They don't look like they've missed much of a step. There's a lot of jabs at the Headbangers in this match. You got Heath Slater on the other side, who's the comedy guy, but we're taking jabs at the Headbangers for reasons. They're your former WWE Tag Team Champions, by the way. Somebody on commentary said it was nice of their jobs at Hot Topic to give them the night off. And David Otunga, who is the last person that I think should be talking about Headbanger music, says, here we have on SmackDown the last two fans of Marilyn Manson. Now, I'm not a fan of Marilyn Manson, but Otunga's an idiot. Anyway, this match, the commentators I had to laugh at. The Heath's kids signs were a bit much because they went along with the stereotyping that I talked about earlier. But this match was fun. The Heath Slater story, lovable loser story, I'm eventually going to get a tag team, or I'm eventually going to get a contract, rather. It's fun. It's harmless. I don't know how long Rhino's sticking around, so I don't know how long this tag team is going to last. But whatever. For reasons, some dude comes to the ring in a suit, says he wants a match, but nobody wants to fight him, strips down to his underwear, and gets his ass handed to him by Kane. Which is nice. I laughed, which, again, means even on the jobber level, SmackDown is doing better than Raw, because I'm not even laughing at the jobbers on Raw anymore, but it is what it is. Ambrose versus Corbin is your main event with AJ Styles, obviously, on commentary. Collar and elbow tie up and a tackle by Corbin to start. Right hands, a kitchen sink, and more right hands by Corbin. Ambrose tosses Corbin out of the ring and a clothesline off the apron. Corbin eats the commentator's desk face first and a hangman by Ambrose as he tries to get back in the ring. Dropkick by Ambrose, a lariat, and punches by Corbin. Corbin stands on the throat and then tosses Ambrose back out of the ring as we go to commercial break. I will say, I was going to say it at the end of the match, but I'll say it now. Corbin, not the best guy in the ring, looked really fucking good in this match. That could be the theme for this week in WWE. Corbin looked better than I thought he would in this match. Cass, to his credit, looked amazing compared to how I thought he would look in the four-way on Raw. The only good thing that happened on Raw. Moving on. Coming back from the commercial break, Corbin rides a headlock and a choke leg sweep combination by Corbin, and he goes back to the headlock. My writing sucks. Goes back to the headlock, body blows by Ambrose, neckbreaker by Ambrose, and they trade punches. Corbin eats post shoulder. First clothesline by Corbin and a rebound clothesline by Ambrose. Ambrose tosses Corbin, who follows up with a suicide dive. Back in the ring, we get a deep six by Corbin that looks like he planted him like a tent spike. Cliche as you will. Ambrose eats guardrail hard. AJ and Corbin go face to face on the outside as AJ tries to tell Corbin how to beat up Ambrose, but that's enough of a distraction. Standing elbow drop by Ambrose. Styles comes up to the ring and hits Corbin with a pendulum kick, getting him the disqualification win over Dean Ambrose. Corbin, Styles, and Ambrose brawl. Dirty deeds on Corbin. AJ Styles tries to get him with a phenomenal forearm from behind. He crotches him and bounces him. Very, very, very funny. Bounces him crotch first on the top rope as the show goes off the air. He's still perched on the top rope, grabbing his nuts when Dean Ambrose grabs his belt, holds it high up in the air, and gives him a condescending pat on the shoulder. That's great. It really, really is. Going into Backlash. Now, we have Styles versus Ambrose. We have Miz versus Ziggler, probably. I hope so. We have Orton versus Wyatt. We have the six-pack challenge for these to crown the new SmackDown Women's Champion. We have the finals of the tournament to crown the new, and I was going to say NXT because I'm an idiot, SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Backlash is wiping the floor with Night of Champions, and we don't even know what's happening at Night of Champions yet. I mean, it just is. I'm not even going to get animated about it anymore. SmackDown is owning Raw. And that's just how it is. And I'm happy with it. I go back to the draft. I go back to where I told you guys SmackDown is going to kick ass. And then everybody said, oh, the first Raw after the draft was amazing. We had the Sasha Banks thing, da-da-da-da-da. And we find out we're going to have a new Universal title, and it's going to be great. It's a purse. It's a purse that Kevin Owens is holding right now, and I'm happy for the guy, but it's a purse. Sasha Banks won her title on that night, and how long did that last? Everything great about Raw has faded. Oh yes, and everything about SmackDown is on the rise. Oh yes. Who told you? Your boy, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys. Team Blue!